Okay, gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
We start now with the risk of collision, Rule 7. Right? Please start.
Rule 7 Risk of collision. Paragraph A. Every vessel shall use all available means appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions to determine if risk of collision exists. If there is any doubt, such risk shall be deemed to exist.
Now here you notice something. It says use all available means to determine the risk of collision. Of course, somewhere down the line he says bearing constant and distance decreasing is the risk of collision, etc. Yes. But then why all available means? I mean, okay, you can use visual bearings, distances, visual estimations, or radar bearing, range, alpha, etc. All that will give you risk of collision, CPA. But what else is there in all available means? Which are the other means that can give you risk of collision? AIS, yes. CPA, TCPA, same thing. What else? Can VHF give you risk of collision?
Yes.
How?
VTS.
Yeah, when the other vessel is reporting to VTS and you get an idea that he is likely to alter, etc., that is also alerting you towards the risk of collision. So all available means also includes VHF. Right? If in any way that you can determine that there is a risk of collision, please do so. And very clearly, when in doubt, assume it is existing. Right? Because if you assume it is not existing, you don't do something about it and the risk is there, you are in trouble. So whenever you are in doubt whether risk of collision is there or not there, assume it is there. It is existing and act accordingly. Right? Next.
Paragraph B. Proper use shall be made of radar equipment if fitted and operational, including long-range scanning to obtain early warning of risk of collision and radar plotting or equivalent systematic observation of detected objects.
So proper and effective use of radar, manual plotting, which you already done, ARPA, and this is including long-range scanning. Right? So very clearly he is saying don't keep your radar only on 6 miles or something. Go to 12, if necessary go to 24. Long-range scanning should be done periodically so that you get early warning of any ships around you and you can determine their approach and hence the risk of collision. Right? Yeah. What else?
Paragraph C. Assumption shall not be made on the basis of scanty information, especially scanty radar information.
What is scanty information firstly? Incomplete. Another word for scanty. How do you understand scanty information?
So the information is not adequate to make a decision.
So what should you do in that case?
So we should gather more information.
Gather more information. That means what he's trying to say is you have taken one bearing, you've taken a second bearing, and you feel that there is no risk of collision, maybe she's clearing. That is not the end of it. Keep observing. Don't just make your conclusion and sit tight. Confirm that it is. The conclusion is correct. And after some time, keep taking another bearing. Same way if you are doing on radar. In radar, one particular thing you got to remember is that the radar bearing accuracy is plus minus 1 degree. Right? So let us say you have a target right ahead, which means this is the center of the radar. Whatever course you are steering, right ahead here you have a target. Let us say this target is 12 nautical miles. Right? After some time, you take another bearing. Let's say when he is 11 nautical miles, that is come closer by 1 nautical mile, you take another bearing. Let us say if this bearing was 0, 0, 0 and this bearing is 3, let's say this bearing is 0, 0, 1. That means the bearing has changed by 1 degree. So you plot this and you say this is the CPA. You will find it is almost 2 miles, maybe even more. But as I told you, remember the bearing accuracy is plus minus 1 degree. So if this bearing instead of 0, 0, 0 was 0, 0, 1, that means this was 0, 0, 1 and this is also 0, 0, 1. Then what will be the CPA? So if you want to conclude from these first two bearings and sit tight, that would be scanty information because it can be in error. That's why it says specially scanty radar information. That's what I'm coming on to. Understanding clear?
Yes, sir.
If it was the other way around, let us say this bearing was 0, 0, 1 and this one, second bearing was 0, 0, 0. Then perhaps the track would have been somewhere like this. This was bearing 0, 0, 0 and this was 0, 0, 1. Getting the point? The bearing error is only 1 degree. Sorry, this won't be 0, 0, 1. This would be 359. Right? 1 degree. If the bearing error again is 1 degree here, and this is also 0, 0, 0, this is also 0, 0, 0, CPA 0. So bearing error of 1 degree, which is permissible by the radar performance standards. You cannot say this radar is not giving me correct information. It is permissible by the radar standards, performance standards of radar. It's very much within the framework for us. This is scanty radar information. All they need to do is after some time when she is 10 miles off, take another bearing, 9 miles off, take another bearing, then come to a conclusion. Clear what we are looking at? Of course, we are not talking of ARPA here. ARPA would again make a full assessment and give us the entire picture. Right? Yeah. What else?
Paragraph D. In determining if risk of collision exists, the following considerations shall be among those taken into account. Point 1. Such risk shall be deemed to exist if the compass bearing of an approaching vessel does not appreciably change.
Firstly, now you said two things in this. Compass bearing of an approaching vessel does not change appreciably. That means the bearing is constant or nearly constant, not changing appreciably. And you use the word approaching. What do you mean by approaching?
Distance reducing.
Distance reducing. How will you know that the distance is reducing?
The size of the vessel will
Simple. When you see the size of the vessel is increasing, isn't it? You don't have to worry about anything else. Of course, in radar you would get the range, etc. That would also give you an indication. But this is straightforward. Approaching vessel size is increasing as it comes closer and closer. That will give you an indication. When the vessel is probably on the horizon, 14-15 miles off, you start seeing only the mast. You barely make out. You need binoculars to see. When the same vessel is roughly about 12 miles off, then what happens? Reasonably much more clear. By the time you is 10 miles off, full form vessel can be seen, especially with the binoculars. Right? So he says bearing of an approaching vessel is constant or does not change appreciably. There is risk of collision. Any doubts in this?
Paragraph D. Point 2. Such risk may sometimes exist even when an appreciable bearing change is evident, particularly when approaching a very large vessel or a tow, or when approaching a vessel at close range.
So here he says that even when the bearing changes, there might be risk of collision, especially when approaching a large vessel or a tow, or when approaching a vessel at close range. Now I'll give you an example which practically happened on the ship. I was master there and I had a new third officer. So we just went up on the bridge for something else, and I saw two targets on the starboard side reasonably far. Of course, at that point of time, the radar was not on for whatever reasons, different issue. But they were reasonably far, and I asked the third officer, I said, what about these targets? He says, no problem, sir. The first one target, which is closer to the starboard bow, is crossing ahead of us. And the second target, which is further away from the bow, is going behind us. So one target crossing the bow going ahead, other one crossing our stern basically, which means he's going behind. The bearings are changing accordingly. So I said, that means you want to pass between the two vessels? And he said, yes sir. I had a good look at the binoculars. Obviously, master with his experience and knowledge will get a better picture than the third officer who's fresh, just joined with a fresh ticket. Difference is there. So I had a look. I knew what it was. And I told the third officer, I said, please keep an eye. Any problems, any issues, give me a call. I am just a call away. And right enough, after about 5-7 minutes, I don't remember exactly, somewhere there, he gave me a call and he says, sir, it is a tug and tow. And this is exactly what I saw when I saw with the binoculars, it's a tug and tow. But he had not realized it at that point of time, he realized it a little later. So I said, okay, in that case, what do you want to do? He says, I think you'll alter the starboard, keep both on the port and pass well astern. Okay, go ahead. So the idea is, what he's saying here, this practically happens. Let's say one ship was somewhere here, and this was it. Obviously, depending on the length of the tow, somewhere in between here, if you could take a bearing of a towing line, you can't take a bearing, but if you could, then that point would have given a constant bearing. The tug here appeared to be moving ahead. Also remember, the length of the tow will keep changing in the sense when the pull is there, the line could go a little slack, then it goes a little elongated. That keeps happening, tightening and loosening up. Right? Going slack, elongating, keeps happening. So obviously the bearing of the tow will not be very accurate. Even the tug will not be very accurate because sometimes the tug can get pulled by the tow. So this is a case where you got to be very, very careful. And again, just one or two bearings and don't come to conclusions. Keep watching. Keep apprising yourself of the situation of what is happening there. Keep a good eye. Especially tug and tow. And in today's days, large vessels. You got vessels more than 300 meters in length, 350 meters in length. Almost 2 cables. One cable is 185 meters. How many meters? 185, isn't it? So 370 meters is about 2 cables. So a ship 2 cables in length, if you take the bearing of the bow and bearing of the stern, they may not be changing in the same sense. Which means if they are on the starboard side, one of them could be reducing the bearing, the forward mast or something could be reducing the bearing. If you take the stern light or something, it could be increasing. But somewhere in between, there could be a point where the bearing is constant, and that is the point which you seem to be heading for. Right? So, please be very careful with this kind of targets. Very large vessel or tug and tow. Make sure the bearings are changing and they are changing in the same sense. That means either both the bearings are reducing or both the bearings are increasing. Only then you can think that you are going clear. As I said, you can think that you are going clear. Think doesn't mean 100%. You still need to keep checking and confirming that you are going clear. What's the idea? Right, so radar, be careful, scanty information, and here also scanty information in the sense if you are taking only 1 or 2 observations. The idea is to avoid scanty information, you must gather more and more information to get clarity of the safe passing of the other vessel. Is it clear? Anybody, any doubts? Well understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the other thing you got to remember is close passing. Risk of collision obviously means zero CPA, but even near zero CPA should be treated as risk of collision. Near zero CPA. Now, each company will have their own standard and they will all give you what is the CPA, TCPA, etc. Below which it is treated as a close quarter situation, or what we would say is we should consider risk of collision exists and it is not a safe passing. Right? In our company it says 1 mile in confined or coastal waters, 2 miles in open sea. So any CPA less than that, you need to take action, and your action should not be to increase the CPA. Your action should be a collision avoidance action as per the rules. Right? So don't say I am taking action to increase the CPA. No, I am taking action to avoid collision or avoid close quarter situation. Get that understanding. Not increasing CPA is not the aim. Aim is to avoid collision or close quarter situation. Clear or any doubts? So can I consider this rule also completed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.